like this. 31! The bike is so smooth, I feel like I might be able to ride this bike without my hands on the handlebar. Yeah, a little bit. I have to balance it. Oh.
What's up, y'all? So I received what could possibly be the best folding bike that's around $1,000 in 2025. I'll say that because this bike has a 48 volt, 20 amp hour battery, advertised to go up to like 80 miles a charge, 50 miles a charge in throttle only. That also has full suspension, including 2 suspensions on the back of the bike, a 750 watt motor with a 1000 watt peak, advertised to go up to 28 miles an hour. And you're getting all that for around $1,000 using my discount code, which is going to be in the description below. So this bike is a Victrip R5S. Again, this bike is foldable. Never reviewed a bike from Victrip before. This bike weighs 90 pounds with the battery. Maximum weight of the rider is 400 pounds. And it has a torque sensor. I love torque sensors over cadence sensors because I feel like they take into account how hard you're pedaling more. And so it's harder to ghost pedal with a torque sensor. So that's another huge plus for the price. I am doing an e-bike giveaway. If you want to be included in this giveaway, you have to be subscribed to the channel and comment below on what type of e-bike you would like. So what we're going to do is we're going to unbox this, put it together, go through all of the features, test out the speed, test out the battery life, and because it has all-terrain tires, we're going to go on-road and off-road. And because it's a folding bike, I'm going to fold this bike up, put it in my car, go to like a more urban area, see what that's like. This is what the bike looks like out the box. Looked like it was wrapped, I would say moderately well. We had all of this foam here. I do wish they protected the tires a little bit better, but we're going to hope that nothing is damaged. So let's go ahead and get this unwrapped. This is what the bike looks like without the wrapping. Doesn't look like anything was damaged. And looks like this is a cargo bike, so the rear rack is built into the bike. So it looks like we're going to have to put our handlebar on, which is already attached via wire there. We're going to have to install our front fender. We're also going to have to install a seat that goes on the back of the bike, as well as like a backrest. Install those here so you can, I guess, ride with a passenger. I'm not seeing the brand of tire this is, but the tires do seem pretty grippy, but not sure about the durability. But this bike came with a box, so let us see what's in the box. The seat definitely feels more comfortable than most. Looks like we have pedals. These pedals are engraved at the bottom, and these are pedals that fold. Okay, look like we got some goodies here. Let's see what's in this green small bag there. Looks like we have a vest. So that's like a bike vest for nighttime riding. Came with your standard hexagon wrench, which I don't really use. Came with a lot of wrenches. We may have to put a lot together on this bike, huh? This is our axle that we're going to use to put the front wheel on. Bike also came with some, look like we have some footrests. I guess we're going to go ahead and try to ride with a passenger. What y'all think? Screws, nuts, and bolts. Bike came with a user manual. So look like they do have online tutorials on how to put this bike together. But the instructions do seem pretty clear. I always like it when they show pictures. And we're likely going to have to look at the tutorial because these instructions in the manual are pretty short. Here's some information about the warranty. Before we put the front wheel on, we have to remove this from our brake. So the installation of the front tire was not clear, nor was it clear in the assembly instructions on YouTube. So I'm going to talk through it. So the bike came with 3 of these like really wide washers. One of them is going to go in between your disc brake and your front fork. Going to go here, okay? And then after we put that there, we're going to take this washer with a hook, put it in here, okay? And there's a slot for that hook. We're going to put that there. Then we're going to take an additional washer, put it on top of that washer, and then we're going to put a nut right there. So here on the other side of this bike, we're going to take 2 of these wide washers and put them in here to fill up this area. Then just like the other side, this washer with a hook on it, put that in there. And we're going to put a washer on top of that, then put a nut on top of that. That's how we're going to install this front tire. So correction, when you put this washer with the hook on there, on this side with the disc brake, you're going to put an additional 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 washers.
What?
And then you're going to put the nut on top of that. As we're tightening up this nut here, we do have to hold it on the other side in order to tighten it up there. You have to kind of do it like this. The user manual wants us to put this headlight on the front of the front fork like this, but I just don't think this washer and this screw is strong enough. I'm going to put the headlight behind the front fork here. That way it's a lot more surface area here to keep that headlight secure. So we're going to put the headlight here, and then we're going to put the fender behind the headlight there. Again, this is a folding bike, so before we put our handlebar on, I want to show y'all how this works. So to fold the handlebar, there's a little switch here. You push that up and you can do that like that. Then you can fold your handlebar, and then at the top you can adjust the height of the handlebar, but once you have a height that you like, then you put this clip on. But let's go ahead and fold it again just to show y'all what it looks like when it's folded. Fold the body, there's a switch here. You click that up, and then you can, oh, that didn't sound good. Move this switch up, then you can undo that. You can fold the bike like this, what the bike looks like when it's folded. So we got this bike put together, only took us about, I would say, 40 minutes. The hardest part to put on was this rear seat contraption, was this passenger seat in the back. This bike is just a little long for a folding bike. It's about 5 feet 9 inches long. I'm assuming that's because they want you to have the option to put a passenger back here. The seat at its lowest point from the floor is about 2 feet 7 inches. Handlebar at its lowest point, the handlebar is adjustable, but at its lowest point from the floor, it's pretty tall. It's about 3 feet 11 inches from the floor. Width of the handlebar is pretty standard for a folding bike. It's about 2 feet 1.5 inches wide. Looking forward to how these, I guess, off-brand tires are going to perform. They seem pretty durable, and they definitely have a lot of grip to them. Get a look at our rear and front 180 millimeter Dyke Island hydraulic brakes. Look at that suspension. This suspension is pretty short. It's about 4 feet long here. But again, we do have suspension on the right side and the left side of the e-bike. Give you all an idea of this rear suspension. This bike also has suspension in the front fork, but it's not adjustable. Looks like you can only open it up or lock it out. And this suspension is kind of short, but give you all an idea of this front suspension. So to take the bike out of the body, you have to fold the bike up. Then you use one of those sets of keys, put it in here, turn it, and then this battery should come out. And this battery is pretty standard. I've used a battery like this on a few other folding bikes, so hopefully you would not have a hard time finding a replacement battery. The bike comes with 2 sets of keys. The other set is to turn the bike on. Put it in this key slot here. You turn it, and now you can press and hold the power button on this panel here, and you can turn your colorful display on. So it looks like we have a few items over here on our panel. We have a horn. If we click this button here, that turns our semi-beefy headlight on and my rear light on. And that rear light is also a brake light. Looks like we also have turning signals. So if I click this button here, and that turns my turning signal on the back of the bike. And that's pretty noticeable because it goes all the way from the middle of our light here to the bottom of your display. Look like we have a USB charger in case you want to charge your phone. Look at some of the basic items on our display. Look like we have our battery life. We just charged the battery. Our pedal assist mode. So looks like we have 5 different pedal assist modes. Our speed calculator, pretty sure you can change that from miles per hour to kilometers. Our trip mileage, and if we click the I button on our panel, we'll get more information on this display. Click the I button, that goes to our odometer. Click it again, our maximum miles per hour, our average miles per hour. This bike seat seems more softer than most, so we'll see. Looks like we have the more like soft rubbery handlebar grips. We have your standard Shimano gear shifter. We have one feature that I love that I normally don't get on e-bike. I think it's a huge plus, which the ability to change how tight your hydraulic brakes are with this knob on your handlebar. I love this feature so much, so good job. Like you have the more plastic chain wheel cover. I like the aluminum ones better. So although this is an affordable e-bike, this e-bike has over 10 advanced settings on your display. And this is a Yoland YL91 F as in Frank dash E as in Ernie display. I'll leave a link in the description below. I'm gonna go into some of the advanced settings, but not all of them. So to go into your advanced settings, you press and hold the plus and a minus button. And here to navigate from one setting to the next, you click the plus or the minus button. If you want to change a setting, you quickly click the I button. So this first one is how do we want to calculate our speed? Do we want to do miles per hour or kilometers? We're going to keep it at miles per hour. This is how many pedal assist modes we have. And what's cool about this is if you click the I button, you click it again, you can adjust how much power you have per pedal assist mode. We're not going to change any of that. P06 is your limit speed. So this is how fast can your bike go. Looks like the maximum is 32 miles per hour. Okay. P9 is your pedal assist sensitivity. And this is always a great setting to have. I think all e-bikes should have this setting because it can accommodate different athletic levels as well as different purposes of your e-bike. You might want to ghost pedal and not get a workout in, for example. Let's say you're using this e-bike to go to work. Or if you want to get somewhat of a workout in, you can adjust the settings to do that too. So great thing to be able to adjust your pedal assist sensitivity. And for the sensitivity, usually the lower you go, the more sensitive it is, but we're going to keep this at a 3.
I think this would be a great bike for urban areas. The transport wasn't that bad. This bike is a little longer than like your average folding bike. The only thing that made the transport of this bike kind of hard is this back seat post for your passengers. So if you take that off, then it's much easier to put your bike in the back seat of your car. But regarding urban commutes, I think this bike is pretty perfect because you do have this vertical swivel handlebar, which makes it easy for you to get into some pretty tight corners. The bike is pretty narrow, like it doesn't have a fat body, so you can keep your knees kind of close together if you don't want to avoid people or things. And you can go from the street to the sidewalk pretty seamlessly without having to worry about hitting people. Let's go back into the streets here. Back on the sidewalk. But yeah, you can go from the street to the sidewalk pretty seamlessly because of the vertical swivel handlebar and because of the size of the bike. Yeah, you're gonna need full suspension if you're using this for urban riding, because you're always gonna have things like this that you know, might make your bike shake. So it's good to have full suspension so that it won't pain you too much. But yeah, definitely a great bike for urban areas. The transport of this bike was not bad either. And I like how gradual this bike is. So I think you won't have to worry about like quickly taking off and maybe hitting something or something in front of you real quick, you know. But yeah, see, I go from the street to the sidewalk, pretty tight, narrow areas. So you struggled to get up that hill. What mode would you on?
You came all the way over here to video my struggle?
No, I was gonna try to help you out, but you was already halfway down.
You know, you ain't helping.
By the time I came up here, you had it figured out already. Victrip RS5. What are your thoughts?
Big, beefy, folding bike. The heavier folks or somebody that wants to put somebody else on.
You weren't very comfortable back there though.
I do think that it's a sturdy bike. I think that we went out on a very, very windy day, and it knocked the bike over. It was pretty sturdy. Seat is not good, not bad. I give it like a 5. Display.
You love the display? Yeah.
I do love that. And I do love the twist throttle.
Okay.
Let me tell you something that I really did not like about this bike.
Okay.
If you want me to ride on the back of this, does that look like my foot can fit there?
You talking about the footrest?
But
You think good for beginners?
it's pretty gradual. I like the gradualness. Turns are good. Off-road is great. I feel like the suspension is pretty good.
Okay, you like the suspension?
Yeah, suspension like an 8.
So what do you get this bike on a scale from 1 to 10?
This bike, I'm going to give it an 8.2.
8.2. All right.
So we're now going to test out these tires. I don't know the brand of tires they are, but they were pretty grippy. But let's test out the durability by going through some gravel. Just a little slipping, like I thought. They're pretty grippy. Yeah, not a whole lot of slipping, and it's pretty windy out here, so not bad. Let's go ahead and brake. It may be a little slipping, but all these tires are definitely grippy enough to lean into your turns. Like, I don't feel like I'm going to slip or fall when I lean into my turns. So although that's the case, and although I do have a pretty wide handlebar for a folding bike, and although the pedals are not that close to the floor, I can definitely lean comfortably in this bike. I would not advise for you to lean into your turns on a folding bike that has this like vertical swivel handlebar. If you do, make sure you firmly have both hands on the handlebar, because again, this handlebar will spin out on you. So we're not going to test out the tires and the suspension. We're going to go off-road here, and off-road with some heels. See how this performs here. Go up here. All right, this ain't bad. I definitely had better, but so far so good. Continue testing this out here. All right, struggled up a hill a little bit, but got through it. All right, I would say the suspension is definitely better than average, mainly because of the two suspensions on the back of the bike. Honestly, that's why I'm feeling the majority of the smoothness is towards the back of the bike. I do wish you were able to adjust the compression in the front. You can only open it up and lock it out, but the suspension is pretty decent. Like, I don't feel a whole lot of shaking when I'm going over these bumps and stuff here. Not a whole lot of rattling, so not bad. I say go down here. Scale from 1 to 10. Let's see. Yeah, that ain't bad. For a folding bike, I give the suspension like a 8.5. The two benefits of having this vertical swivel handlebar is, number one, it does make your bike very easy to fold and transport because you can bring the handlebar down here. But secondly, it accommodates different heights of riders, especially this bike. And I say that because I have this handlebar up pretty high, right? Because I'm 5'11", 6 feet with shoes on. Usually when I have the handlebar up this high and I'm riding in I guess more of a commuter style posture, usually when I have the handlebar up this high, the wire is pulling from the bike because that's as high as they really want you to bring this handlebar, you know what I mean? But on this bike, look at all the room I have here on this wire to go even higher on my handlebar. So I think this can not only accommodate riders that are shorter than me, but also taller than me. Because I already have the seat up pretty high, it looks like I could raise the handlebar up pretty high as well. Also, out the box, the pedal assist on this bike is pretty perfect. And part of the reason why I like a torque sensor, I'm gonna try pedal assist mode 1 here. Go down a few gears. But it doesn't send you flying, and the pedal assist is not delayed either. It's like almost perfect, especially in mode 1 through 3. It looks like mode 1 is taking me up to, what's this? 9, about 9 miles per hour in mode 1. Let's now switch to mode 3 and really test out this pedal assist sensitivity here. Gonna go from a complete stop to mode 3, but I did change my gears, that's why you're hearing that. So the pedal assist started right away, right? But it didn't send me flying. It's gradually going up in speed, and I feel like I can't ghost pedal. Like, I feel like it's taking into account how hard I pedal. Pedal assist is pretty perfect in mode 3. It looks like mode 3 takes me up to 20 miles per hour. But yeah, I love the pedal assist so far. It may give me a little too much pedal assist in mode 5, but we're gonna try that later. Go ahead and brake. And I love the brakes on this bike as well. Now for a folding bike, this bike is pretty comfortable. The folding technology seems very stable. It doesn't seem very shaky. The body is very stable. In fact, and I wouldn't advise anybody to do this on a folding bike with this kind of handlebar, but smooth, I feel like I might be able to ride this bike without my hands on the handlebar. Yeah, a little bit. I have to balance it. Oh, hold on. Let's try that again. Yeah, I can do it. Again, you know, the vertical swivel handlebar, I wouldn't advise to do it, but I'm trying to give y'all an example of just how smooth the bike is. So we're now gonna try max speed, pedal assist. And as I hit this turn, I'm happy that these pedals are not super close to the floor. At 25, quickly though, huh? 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. All right, look like 31. So we're now gonna try max speed, throttle only, so I'm not pedaling. Let's see how fast we go here. We got up to 24 rather quickly. Okay, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Okay, 31. So we're now gonna go max speed, throttle only, up a hill. And this is a pretty steep hill, about a 35-degree hill, and the hill is on a turn. So I think it's a great test. And again, we're not pedaling. Let's see how much speed we lose going up this hill. So going into the hill, we're going 27 miles per hour. We're going into the turn and the hill now. $25, $23, $21, $19, $18, $17. Man, we're losing that. We lost that quick. $16, $15, $14, $13. All right, so we lost about 13, 14 miles. The average is usually like 9 or 10.
So Victrip R5S, this is probably the best folding bike that I've ever reviewed that's around $1,000. I think it's the best one at that price point. I say that because I was able to go fast on this bike. I went up to 31 miles per hour. The battery life is amazing. I don't know how they did it, but I went on a 20-mile bike ride. I spent 7 miles going max speed pedal assist. I spent 1 mile going max speed throttle only. In that 20 miles, I only lost 1 out of 5 battery bars. So yeah, that's definitely like 80 miles a charge, if not more. The suspension was decent. I do wish you could adjust the compression of the suspension in the front of the bike, but the coil suspension, you have 2 of them in the back, really helped when it came to off-road riding on this bike. This bike is very sturdy, like the folding technology they have on the stem and the body of the bike makes for a very sturdy ride. I almost felt like I could use this bike without my hands on the handlebar. You have all the bells and whistles. You have a headlight, a rear light, you have turning signals which are very noticeable on the back of the bike. You have a brake light. You have a key starter, so you need a key in order to turn this bike on. You have a USB charger that you can use to charge your phone. You have a horn. You have over 10 advanced settings where you can change things like your pedal assist sensitivity. It has a torque sensor, so when you pedal, you don't feel like the bike is just sending you flying, you know what I mean? You feel like it's taking into account how hard you're pedaling. You have a knob on your handlebar that you can use to adjust how tight your hydraulic brakes are. And this bike was compact enough for us to fold up and put in the back of my mid-sized car, so it's like, what else could you want from a folding bike, especially for that price? So, for the price, I would say on a scale from 1 to 10, it's a 10. For that price, for like $1,000, I can't think of another folding bike that's beating this at that price. But comment below what you'll give this bike on a scale from 1 to 10. If you can think of any other folding bike that's around $1,000 that's better than this one, comment below, let me know. But if there's any other e-bike you want me to review, also comment below. Thank y'all for watching. Peace.